What's up, baseball fans? Welcome to another episode of the 11.7 podcast, where we are here to recap weekend number 6 of the college baseball season. We're going to preview the midweek coming up, and we should give you a lot of thoughts and opinions now that we're, you know, a month and a half, almost 2 months into the season. It's been flying by. I hope everybody had a good Easter, and man, with this past weekend was, I don't know about you, Dimitri, but I kinda like the Thursday, Friday, Saturday schedule, right? For most of the teams last week, it was nice to have 80% of the college weekend done by Saturday night, and then Sunday, you get to focus on, 5 or 6 different games. So I thought that was pretty cool. Nice little break there. But
No, I like
anyways,
it a lot. I love it because this Sunday, just a few like marquee premier game, and you actually get a Sunday off, like a weekend day off, where you can like not have to sit there and watch so many games.
yeah, no, I'm right there with you. No Jack today. Jack he's got a flight in, like, 5 hours. We're recording late on Monday night. And Jack will be flying to DC. I don't know what he's doing this weekend. Possibly, maybe he's calling some games. I don't know. I forgot to ask, but he did a really good job broadcasting the Duke UVA series this past weekend. Dude, he's a natural. I
He's
think he'll be, one of the faces of college baseball here pretty soon. Like he's just excelling. So happy for Jake and his broadcasting career. Speaking of broadcasting, I threw out a tweet today from the 11.7 Twitter account. You know how there's the Golden Spikes Award? Well, we should give out the Golden Mics Award, like microphone. Best college baseball broadcaster, whether it's radio or TV. Man, I think people would really enjoy that because there's so many really good ones, very few bad ones. Now there are some bad ones that I hate listening to, but maybe it's just not my cup of tea. But when everything's all said and done, there's probably about 20 to 25 that I absolutely love to listen to. And, it sucks because sometimes I'll have 3 games on at once, and I can only listen to 1 at a time. But, yeah, I think we should give it away award this year.
I feel like how do you measure that though? Because so many people are going to feel robbed. There are so many good ones. How do we do that? Because I saw you like posted it and texted in the group. How are we going to pick a winner? Is it going to be a fan voting contest? Like, are we going to pick the 10 finalists and then go from there?
That's a good point. I mean, I think it comes down to, like, consistency, 1, electric moments, 2,
Or from that season?
um
So that means they need to be part of some electric moments this current season.
right, yeah, it's this season only. Dude, we'll figure it out. Fan voting could be a big factor into it, but they give away awards for everything, right? And you have to make decisions. So it'll be our journey to make the decision. Jack can help with the voting as well. But yeah, we could do it. It might piss some people off, but who cares? Um,
Let's do it. I mean, maybe we give the award to the person that we thought had the most viral or electric call on the year.
yeah, something like that. I'm down.
I'm down. I'm down. I think we can do that because people will understand. Yeah, hey, there were two viral moments. Ah, man, we just missed out. But it's not personal. Nothing personal.
Exactly. And we can do it every year. It'd be a lot of fun. But anyways, it's just a little behind the scenes stuff there. Dude, we just finished watching one of the biggest upsets. I know it's a midweek, but it was a big upset today. LSU loses to Southern, pretty bad. Like, it got ugly towards the end of the game, and, LSU's now lost 6 out of their last 7, coming off that sweep. They got swept in Fayetteville, and the LSU Tigers look lost. I mean, they threw Thatcher Hurd out there in the 9th inning today to, just try to limit the damage, and he was a weekend starter, like, last week. So, man, LSU, I don't know if the curse is real. We talked about the curse. Mississippi State wins it all in 2021. They come in dead last in the SEC in 2022. Ole Miss wins it all in 2022. They come in dead last in the SEC in 2023. LSU wins it all in 2023. Right now they're sitting at 2-7. Very tough schedule, obviously. But then they piggyback that with a loss to Southern on a Monday night. I think there's a lot of question marks in this LSU lineup besides Tommy White. It feels like Tommy White's carrying like 50% of the runs that this team scores. Like when he's not hitting or not on base, they don't score.
Bear Jones is doing some damage. Hayden
Right, but
Travinski
they're,
doing,
like, inconsistent.
but I
Same
get
with,
it.
like, Travinski, Kling, like, those guys are not consistently there, like, last year when there was Trey Morgan, Dylan Cruz, Tommy White, and those guys that were just, like, consistent throughout the year. So, anyways, I think LSU will turn it around at some point. Um, Personally, I don't think they should be ranked, and I don't think they want to be ranked, because if you're LSU, just going in the mind of a college baseball player, or a coach, you would rather not be ranked than, like, ranked 21st or 24th if you're an LSU type of team. Now, if you're a, Campbell or a UC Santa Barbara, Northeastern, you wanna be in the rankings. But if you're bottom of the SEC right now, you want clear slate. You don't wanna be ranked super low. You want that target off your back, and you wanna come back and sneak up on teams ultimately. So, um
You
that's
know what?
just something that popped up. Didn't have it planned to talk about on the show, but we just watched the ending, and, congrats to the Southern Jaguars. SWAC teams, it feels like every year, 1 or 2 of them will beat
First,
an
first
SEC team.
win, first win for the Jags at Alex Box Stadium since 2005. But
That's cool. Like, th they get to
cool.
remember that the rest of their lives.
No.
So that's awesome.
Hey, they get to beat the defending champs, even to put another little, add a little extra flair to it.
Right. 100%.
But I don't want to talk too much about LSU. There's so much better things to talk about right now. They're down, they're bad. We don't want to pile on them.
Right. No, I did not either. I was gonna give all the credit to Arkansas from this past weekend because the hog pen was electric. Arkansas, I mean, they did what
Wait,
they were supposed to do.
is it home field time?
Yeah, let's do I have it pulled up. That's actually a great segue. I'm about to share my screen here. Our home field, if you guys are first tuning into the podcast, we are official partners with Home Field Apparel, and you guys have been doing great. All of our followers have been, buying a lot of stuff and helping us out, helping them out. They're sponsoring our or partnering with us for our weekend series pick'em competition that we do every week, and they're going to be setting up our winners for each contest in Omaha this summer with us and all the perks and everything. So every week, or actually every episode, we give away a team of the week, and when we say team of the week, just a team that goes above and beyond expectations. And the Arkansas Razorbacks still sitting at the number one spot in the top 25. They go and take care of business, sweep LSU. Very fun series. There were some really good moments, nail biting moments. My adrenaline was rushing the whole time. But here's just a look at what they have for Arkansas. As you can see, they really hit on, like, the retro throwback, Home Field Apparel does, and if you use our code CWS, 24 at checkout, it's 15% off your first purchase, but something like
I
this right here, like, that's cool. That's an old retro throwback shirt. This is more baseball
that
centric.
that one right there, I love that. I love the old script with the little thing that comes under, like Oklahoma State.
Yeah, and it's a super soft crew neck. The thing with home field is like it's the like premium. Whenever you buy a shirt and it just feels premium,
Cozy,
it just
sharp.
feels soft. It fits well. It makes you look good. That's the type of quality they have. So here's some more Arkansas baseball stuff over here. Football, it doesn't matter. They have every sport. This one's cool. This is Razorback Country cartoon logo. Really cool. So shout out to Home Field Apparel. You just go to homefieldapparel.com and check out what they have. They have over 150 schools now. And the big thing that we want to talk about is now that college basketball is wrapping up, they sent us an email last week saying that they're about to dump a lot of college baseball targeted stuff. And there might be some hats, there might be some jerseys. Like, you guys just wait. It's about to get real over there at home field. So, um, yeah, shout out to home field. They're really, really fun and easy people to work with too. Like, down to earth, salt of the earth kind of people. They're not in it to get rich. They're just kind of college sports fans like us, and they just want to make cool products. So, really enjoy working with them. But let's talk about this Arkansas series. I was dead wrong. Jack was dead wrong. Dimitri, you picked Arkansas. I thought this was a perfect spot for an LSU bounce back. when nobody's expecting it. You start 2-4 in SEC play, not playing good baseball. I thought this LSU team was going to take it up a couple notches, maybe a players only meeting in the locker room, something, and
I
they
think
didn't play bad.
I think you're a week early on that thought. That team meeting's coming now.
Right? Yeah, yeah. Well, I think it comes now after the loss to Southern, but yeah, it's just sometimes the game moves fast, and LSU wasn't able to capitalize on, like, the big moments, runners in scoring position, but every game was tight. Like, they lost by 3, then they lost in extra innings, and then they lost by 2 late. And so it's like,
I think this
I know it's a
series
tough
could.
place to play, but you just can't get swept in the SEC. Like, there's a huge difference between being 2-7 and 3-6. It astronomical. Like,
Or four and
mentality.
five, or 4 and 5.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not even saying 4-5. If they could just squeaked out 1 win and 3-6, you're like, "Okay, we're a sweep away.
Oh
We'll
yeah.
play we'll play a Missouri or somebody later in the year, and we'll try to sweep them." But, yeah, anyways, let's talk about Arkansas. Nathan Smith is about as automatic as it comes, and I don't wanna touch on that too much because everybody in the world knows Hagen Smith. He's an automatic double-digit strikeout, um, and the thing for me is it's the guys after him that really make the team, right? Because last year with LSU, Paul Skeens was automatic. Everybody knew that. It was like, who's gonna pitch Saturdays and Sundays and get us at least 1 more win, if not 2? And you had guys step up in those roles. Arkansas, it doesn't drop off much. Like, Brady Tygart and Mason Molina do not drop off much from Hagen Smith as far as, like, productivity. You're getting 5, 6, 7 innings out of them, like, close to double-digit strikeouts as well. And, to me, I think that's what separates this Arkansas team from pretty much everybody else in the country. The, eh how do I put this? I like Clemson a lot. I think Clemson's very offensive. I think they're scrappy and play a different style of baseball than the top 5 teams in the country. They're not an Arkansas threat. Same thing with, like, UNC, Texas A&M. Like, I think there's small flaws in those teams, even though they're elite of the elite. This Arkansas team, now that the offense is playing a little bit better, like, they're already a good defensive team. The pitching is elite. I don't know if I don't know if I wanna say this, but they feel like a lock to make Omaha because I don't see them losing twice in a regional or a super regional because of that starting pitching.
We thought the same thing in 2021.
This
This,
team's
I
better
mean,
th I think this team is better than the 2021 team.
pitching wise, yes, but offensively, no. But
Right.
I mean, when they're giving up 3 runs or less, or some feels like 3 runs or less every game, it's hard to lose in
But, like,
college.
what McIntyre did on bullpen this weekend was I mean, I'm not gonna say it's Kevin Capps worthy because he was a Golden Spikes winner. He was unbelievable all year. But, like, he's a guy that you can roll out twice in a weekend. That's a huge piece there
Yeah, no,
too.
I think this week can said more about Arkansas than LSU because it's easy for Arkansas to slip up have one bad game on the weekend, go 2 out of 3. Hey, successful weekend. No, they swept their ass and they let everybody know like we can win Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, week in and week out.
Yeah.
Or sorry, Thursday, Friday, Saturday for some weekends. But yeah, that said more about Arkansas. So great weekend for the Hog. The Hog pen was electric. Bullpen was great. McIntyre, awesome. Tiger, I mean, dude, Tiger, like he's just nobody's even talking about him, and I think he's one of the best starting pitchers in the SEC. Um,
Exactly.
so yeah, I'm really high on Arkansas, but we know how this all goes. I don't want to get too high on them yet.
Yeah, and Arkansas's schedule is gonna get a lot harder. Like, let's just say they caught LSU at a bad time. They've played Missouri and Auburn before them, the 2 series. So, in fact, they've played the 3 technically worst SEC teams. They have Ole Miss this weekend, Alabama, South Carolina, Florida, Kentucky, Mississippi State, Texas A&M. It's gonna get a little bit tougher for the Hogs, but I just think this pitching is gonna play all year. Like, unless they have an injury or 2,
Exactly. I was thinking like
Right.
just take 1 week at a time.
Yeah.
Arkansas fans, just 1 week at a time. Please keep your hopes down. It's like talking to a girl. Don't get too infatuated too early. Pace yourself. Let it marinate. Let it come. It'll come. Whether
Yeah.
this year, next year, 3 years, it's gonna come. Just enjoy each and every win. I think that's the biggest thing for Arkansas too. The player and the team. Hey,
Right.
we've been this good before. We've been this good for a while. Now, just worry about the present moment. Let everything else take care of itself because it will kill you. Tennessee, they were looking at Omaha when Notre Dame rolled into town. They were the best team in the country by a long shot. So it's just like I want Arkansas to make it, but I'm also like nervous for them because I'm like, dude, let's slow down a little bit, one step at a time.
Yeah. No, that's a good way to put it. Um, but I guess everything else around the SEC, Texas A&M with a huge statement sweep over Auburn. Those games were fun, just because Auburn felt like they were fighting for their SEC lives. Um, they also have had a bad draw with scheduling, but Auburn's now 1-8 in SEC play. That's tough to get back from.
Oh my
Like
God.
that's tough to put yourself in a position. You pretty much have to sweep one weekend just to like it doesn't matter when the weekend is, but just to like get back in the thick of things. But this Auburn team I think is good, but I think it said more about Texas A&M, right? So I'm about to go on a little spiel. When Texas A&M rolls the lineup over, they got Graham Grahovic hitting in the 9 hole, who is one of the most talented freshmen in the country, and he's been hitting the ball well. But then you get like the Jace Laviette and the Braden Montgomery back to back at the top of the order, and those guys are unbelievable, dude. Like these are major league players. 115 exit velocity. It doesn't matter if it's a lefty or a righty. Like, they just hit the crap out of the baseball.
And
And
Montgomery got out of that graveyard you call Sunken Diamond out in Palo Alto.
yeah, I mean, he's got 16 homers. I think he's second in the SEC and maybe first in the SEC, but maybe second in the nation in RBIs. Like this guy has been a flat out superstar, and like he's putting himself in a position to possibly go number one overall.
No,
Um,
no,
what do you
stop,
mean no?
stop.
What do you mean no? Explain to me why
Braden,
no.
Braden Montgomery, I don't even think goes top five.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Why? Wait. All right. Explain to me why.
I mean, okay, yes, he's been a big time hitter this year, but I don't think from a MLB draft standpoint, I don't think he's been a because okay, the most draft rankings and stuff were including his ability to pitch a little bit. Dude, he's not
That
even
doesn't matter
pitching.
for the draft.
I know, but that was like kind of what was boosting his thing. But anyway, I mean,
Let me
okay,
teach you
okay,
something about the draft.
here we
Wait,
go.
hold on. Let me teach you something about the draft. All these teams care about are tools, and Braden Montgomery has tools. He great hitting, hits with power, fast running, unbelievable arm strength. Like him and Dakota Jordan, don't be shocked. But Dakota Jordan over at Mississippi State, obviously, but like I think
Okay,
those two could be like sneaky top five overall picks
all right, let's
both.
do this. Travis Bazana, surefire top five pick, right?
No, I wouldn't say that. I mean, I like it. I think he's really good, but I wouldn't say surefire.
You don't think he's a top five pick?
I do, but I'm saying I don't think he's a surefire
All right.
top
Okay, let's
five
just
pick.
say is he a top five pick? Probably.
It depends if they want. Like, can he play another position besides
Is
second
Chase
base?
Burns a top five pick?
I don't think so.
Is Seaver King a top five pick?
I love Seaver King, but
Is Jack
it's tough.
is
So
Jack
let
Jack
me take a
Jack
step back.
Hagg the
I
top
don't
five?
know much. Time out. Let me take a step back. I don't know much about the high school class. I really don't. And if there's like some high schoolers out there that are studs, then like I apologize. But let's just talk top five college players, like draft eligible college players. Right now, for me, I think Charlie Condon is the
Correct.
best
He's the top
hitter.
five. That was the next name
The
I was going to say.
I think he is as close to a surefire top five pick. I mean, I think he's close to a
How
major
can you
league
say
hitter right now.
how can you say Condon is surefire and Bazana is not?
because I think Condon is a much better hitter than Bazana.
I'm not saying one is better than the other or anything. I'm just talking about purely top five. Travis Bazana came into the year as a probable number one pick, and he hasn't done a single thing to give me any doubt that he won't still be a top five pick.
Um,
I
that
mean,
Higgins Smith game,
his bat and ball skills are through the roof. His contact through the roof. His barrel is through the roof. Everything
it's
is
the position he plays though. He plays second base. Like, is he going to get drafted as a possible center fielder, maybe a shortstop, third base?
okay. Fine.
Like,
I mean, I'm not a draft guru, so I'm probably speaking out of line here, but
well, I'm not. So we're just going to talk things through because I think most of our listeners are probably as educated as we are when it comes to the draft. But like, this is just a fun conversation. Like, Jack Caglione will be a top 5 pick
correct. That's one.
because, and like, I don't know if he's going to go number 1 overall or if he's going to go number 5, but
Fifth,
like, I would bet a lot that he goes top 5 just because I can't see 5 teams passing up on him and his
correct.
abilities. I think Condon and Bazana or
All right,
Bazana are
let's do this. Let's do this. Top five college players picked, so we don't have to worry about the high school shit.
right. Okay. I think Condon and Bazana are in a similar category as far
Okay,
as
they're going to be the
what?
top five college players picked. Bazana, Cags, and Condon.
Right. I think Braden Montgomery is the best of the rest
Okay,
as
Vance
far as
Honeycutt,
like
Jake
MLB
Bird,
draft
Wendell
ready.
Holt, Seaver King, Sirota, Hagen Smith, Nick Kurt. You think he's better than all those?
Yes.
You know what? I think I would take Montgomery today over Nick Kurt. But I
Yeah.
do really like Nick Kurt as a pro hitter.
Yeah, but I mean he's a first baseman. Like, yeah, he's great defensively. He's been hurt this year. Um, I don't know.
You see why it popped into my mind. Like, wait a minute, what number one overall pick?
Let's get back to the reason why we were talking about this. I think Montgomery and Dakota Jordan are going to sneak up on people. I think by the time that the draft hits, you're going to see both of those names fly up the draft rankings because of the tools they possess. Um, that's all I'm saying. Like, you can't
Yeah,
teach Dakota Jordan's power. You can't teach Braden Montgomery's athleticism. Like, I'll put it to you this way. I think Braden Montgomery has a good, not a good chance. I think there's a chance that he goes number 1 over. And people are going to call me crazy, but he is what he's doing at Texas A&M this year is crazy.
let
That
me go ahead and
and
let
he's
me
a
go ahead
switch
and pull
hitter.
up his
And
official
he's a
stat.
switch hitter.
Let me pull up his official stat because I'm not saying like you're so out of so wrong or anything because obviously there's no totally wrong answer. We don't know what they're going to do, but um, I mean I'd be shocked if Montgomery went in the top three college players taken. But let me see, Montgomery, 381 average, six. 26 walks, 18, or yeah, 26 walks, 18 punch outs. Only 3 stolen bases, but still 16 homers, 47 RBI, slugging 933. I mean, he's clearing the Texas A&M lineup by a long shot. So maybe if he keeps that up, he'll probably be a top five pick.
Yeah. Um, well, let's talk about so let's use this and let's talk about Charlie Condon and how ridiculous his numbers are. Um, I don't have them in front of me. I know he has 19 home runs, which is on pace for over like almost 40 if he plays into like a super regional, let's say. He probably won't play into a super regional, but if he plays 3 or 4 games in a regional, that's close to 40 on pace. And
Hey,
he's not slowing down.
I just need to say something real quick. Travis the just hit a 452-foot home run at 109-mile exit velo.
Oh, did he? That's about right. I have a funny story. I was talking to a scout at the UNC game last week, and he was asking me about Vance Honeycutt. And I was like, "Look,
You
I
told it.
think
We
he's
talked about this last episode or two
yeah."
episodes.
And like before I could finish, he hit a home run. So anytime I talk down on a player or say like not so fast, he hits a home run. So, anyways,
Uh,
that's about right. I'm not even surprised.
yeah.
But yeah, let's go Charlie Condon. Right now, Charlie Condon is the Golden Spikes winner. I know what Cags is doing. and I know he hits the walk-off home Jack Cagliano hits a walk-off home run the same day that he pitches, and
to win a series.
wins
Like, dude, come
win
on.
a series.
You can't get much more MVP than that.
And it feels like, on the weekends, Cags carries this Florida Gators team to consistent weekend series wins because he wins on Sunday when he's pitching. He also does it with the bat. On top of that, he did it all last year, 33 homers. The one game I felt like he slipped up was that championship game where he gave up a ton of runs to LSU. But
Yo, we're at the halfway mark in the college baseball season.
like for the regular season, but then you have conference tournaments, you
Yeah,
have
but
regionals.
how many did Cags hit at the end of the regular season last year?
I think 26 or 27.
Didn't he finish with 33?
Yeah. I think he hit one in the conference tournament. He hit two in the regionals. I don't think he hit any in the supers, and I think he hit two or three in the College World Series.
All right, let me do this real quick. Stats. 2023 season. Florida, why do you not have? Oh, here we go. All right. 2023, 71 game, 33
That's
homers.
so many games.
71 game. Condon had 19 homers in 28 games. So he's on pace. He's on pace for 56, 38. He's on pace for over 40 home runs.
Like 48 homers right now in 71 games.
38 through 56, 71 be 15. So he would hit about 10 more. 30, 40. He's on pace for about 45 to 48 homer.
Yeah.
In 71 game clip. So unbelievable. I mean, 500.
Why are they still pitching to him?
I
I'm
mean,
like, I know, like
had,
Collins and Altford are both tearing up the ball too, but he's got to be the guy in the lineup that's written in red ink saying he's not going to beat us. Like he will. I would without hesitation walk him with the bases loaded. It doesn't matter
Barry Bond
if it's
treatment.
yeah. I
Yo,
do not want him beating us.
26 walks and 8 hit by pitches with 103 AB. So 34 plus 103, 137. 137 plate appearances. He gets on. He's been walked or hit by pitch. 34, 128, almost 20, about 25%, more or less. So 1 out of 4 at bats, he's getting put on base via walk or hit by pitch.
It needs to be closer to half his at bats. I'm tired of like, if I'm the opposing team, I'm not pitching to him. So, anyways,
33 might be a difficult number to get to if they start walking him crazy.
Yeah, he still hasn't really gotten cold yet, which is like at some point this year, I think he'll get cold.
Well, he needs
Right?
14 more. He needs
I mean,
14
he's still hitting
more.
he's hitting 511. His OPS is like 1826 or something.
Yeah.
Which means in like in simplistic form, OPS is like how many bases he gets per at bat. So he's almost getting 2 bases per at bat. He's almost an automatic double.
Yeah. So I mean, I think the SEC is as deep as I've ever seen it.
Yeah.
Because we're talking about arguably one of the best players in the conference on a 4-5 Georgia team who just swept Alabama or 2 weekends ago and then took the lost a hard fought series to Tennessee. But I mean, that is your 6th place team in the East, and they're a tough out, a very tough out. So I think
what's cool? You know what's cool about the SEC is there is one superstar per team. Like 1 to 2, depending on what you want to call a superstar. But like one from like, even Missouri has Trevor Austin, who is a really good player. Like he would be considered a superstar at pretty much any Big 12 school right now. Um, but it seems like every team has that one guy where you're like, he is he's an all-American on paper. And so like making the all SEC team and making, like the SEC player of the year is just as hard, I feel like, as the Golden Spikes, other than a few guys. other
I
than
mean,
the
well, I'm just
Bozana.
thinking. I'm thinking of a team like, okay, for example, Kentucky. Their offense is a juggernaut right now, right?
Yeah.
They have 29 home runs as a team.
Yeah, they're built different though. Huge
But
ballpark.
I mean, they're only hitting 287 as a team, which is, I think, is pretty high for a team average. No,
Yeah, it's pretty. I mean, yeah, for
it's
college.
average, a little above average, right?
Right. Yeah.
So, like, I mean, but they're slugging 471. So I'm just like, the numbers don't make sense to how good this Kentucky offense is from a scoring standpoint.
Yeah, they're built different, Dimitri. Like this is we're hitting singles, we're hitting and running, we're trying to draw walks, leaning into pitches. I bet their hit by pitches is pretty high, compared to a lot of teams. And
They've
Kentucky,
had
like
played.
they're built on pitching and defense. Like that's what they are. That's why they were a super regional team last year.
I think this Kentucky team is going to be the exact same as last year, dude. They played a soft SEC schedule to start the year, and then they're going to get humped because last year, remember, they were on fire. Everybody's like, "Oh my god, Kentucky's so good," and then they just rolled into Baton Rouge, lost 2 out of 3. Then they rolled somewhere else and lost 2 out of 3 again. It was like, "Oh, this is the Kentucky team, a good team, but not a top 3 team in the SEC." So
Right.
it's like because they've got Alabama at Auburn, Tennessee, South Carolina, Arkansas, Florida, Vanderbilt left on the schedule.
Yeah, those last three series especially are gonna be tough. Um,
So I mean they're first in the SEC, but I think at the end of the day it's gonna be a Vanderbilt or Florida, maybe Tennessee at the top. And then I mean it's just this is the deepest I've ever seen. A 1-8 Auburn team is better than probably 30 teams in the country. They're a top 30
30.
team. They're a top 30
Oh,
team in terms of talent and like how good they can be.
I'm trying
Top
to think back
25,
to Auburn's schedule.
top 30.
Let's pull it up.
I have it up.
I don't remember what Auburn did
Vanderbilt,
non-con.
Arkansas, A&M. Vanderbilt, Arkansas, A&M. They
And
played
then
the
they have
hardest.
Tennessee this week. Auburn has Tennessee, then Kentucky, back to back.
Kentucky next weekend, and then you go to Mississippi State, to LSU. Like, I mean, this is this the year a 10-win SEC team gets in the postseason? I hope not, because I think that's terrible. But I think they're good enough to be a top 64 team at the end of the year.
Yeah. Like I like going into warrennolan.com and doing predicted
Oh,
final
I hate the
standings.
predicted. I hate the predicted because it's
I just
like,
want to see what the SEC has predicted. I'm curious. So they
uh,
predict Tennessee to win the East at 19 and 11, which I'm not going to argue with.
no,
Um,
14 is 7 the rest of the way.
yeah, that's winning 2 out of 3 every series, which I think they can do.
Yeah.
Arkansas is predicted to win. They have Arkansas predicted 24 and 6 in the West. And yeah, I mean, based off the predicted, they have Auburn predicted 12 and 18, which means they're gonna go 11 and
11 and
10 the
10.
last 7. That's crazy.
Oh, Kim, by the way, do you agree with my statement now that I said about 3 weeks ago that Mississippi State is the better team of the two Mississippi teams?
Yeah, definitely
Like
have more firepower. And
preseason, I thought Mississippi State was going to be the better team. Um, I think they're a good. I think they're actually a really good team.
well, we'll find out April 12th through the 14th, 2 weeks.
Yeah, the
We'll
egg.
find out.
Is that the Egg Bowl?
Yeah,
What do
whatever
they
they
call
call
it
it
in
in
baseball? The
baseball.
Governor's Cup.
Yeah. Um, but look, let's pivot off the SEC. We just spent the first 20
Yep.
minutes of the show or whatever on this. I'm gonna talk about a team that I think is flying under the radar in the ACC, and that's North Carolina. They're 25 and 4 this year, 20 and 0 at home. 20 and 0 at home. I know their schedule pre-conference was not great, but they're 10 and 2 in the ACC, tied with somebody in the ACC. I don't remember who now. Who else is 10 and 2?
Virginia Tech.
Oh, Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech. But Virginia Tech's schedule is super soft. But anyways, let's talk North Carolina because the last 3 weekends, last weekend they went to Wake and swept them. They hit what, 14 home runs in 3 games? Is that right?
14 homers on the weekend.
Yeah, the weekend before that they sweep Georgia Tech. Um, and they also swept Pittsburgh. So they have 3 SEC sweeps. It's funny, they lost 2 out of 3 at
ACC.
Miami 3 weeks ago, and I was like, "Hey, this Miami team's really good." I'm walking back that statement. But anyways, North Carolina, they got Cook, they got freaking Honeycutt, and, you look at their lineup, they got 2 freshmen starting. One of their weekend arms is a true freshman. This team's gonna be good for a long time, I think. Now this is a tough like, the ACC schedule makers did not do the Tar Heels any favor. At Wake, next week, after that, at Virginia. So, they got back-to-back road series against the preseason 2 favorites in the conference, but I'm really liking this North Carolina team. I was down on them preseason. I was wrong.
Yo,
Um,
if they get through, let's just say they win 2 out of 3 at Virginia this weekend. They get Notre Dame, NC State, Virginia Tech, Louisville. This team might be the favorite to win the ACC outside of Clemson.
yeah, well, that brings up another point. Like, NC State is playing good baseball too. After getting swept at Georgia Tech, they win 2 out of 3 against Duke, they sweep Notre Dame, and then they have Louisville coming up. So, NC State, like, could potentially be, if they sweep Louisville, 11-4 in conference, which is a big statement a big statement too. So, the ACC, I haven't quite figured out. That was my whole point bringing this up.
All right.
The
Do
team
you
with the best record, Virginia Tech, they're 10-2 in conference, 21-5 overall. But they've played Notre Dame, Louisville, and Boston College.
they're middle
So,
they're gonna end up right around 500 by the end of the year.
well, and Pitt, sorry, and Pitt. So Boston College, Pitt, Louisville, Notre Dame. Probably 4 of the
Or
bottom
worse.
5 teams. They still have a big chunk of like they had Duke left, North Carolina, Miami, Virginia. Like it's gonna get a little bit harder for Virginia Tech, but this team I'm starting to buy in on Virginia Tech too. Like
It's
they
too
have like
early.
Carson DeMartini is a superstar. Like they have a legitimate starting rotation that eats up innings for them. So like
Come on.
it's not
Don't
bad.
don't drink the hokey Kool-Aid too early.
But we said the
Virginia is
same
going to
thing in
finish in front of them, and
2022.
Duke is going to finish in front of them.
I
They're
mean,
going to be
I don't
fourth
know.
at best in the Coastal.
But they're already 10-2 and
Yeah, and
they have a 4-game lead on Duke. So you think Duke's gonna make up 4 games on them?
100%. I mean, Duke just played Wake, Clemson, NC State, and Virginia. Now they get Miami at home. They go to Pittsburgh, at Virginia Tech, Florida State, Georgia Tech, North Carolina. So I think Duke sweeps Pitt. They're going to win 2 out of 3 against Miami at home. They're going to sweep Pitt. That's 5-1, and then they go to Blacksburg and play Virginia Tech. They can make it up right there. They can make it up
I
right
guess.
there. So I think it's too early to tell, but I do think the ACC is really deep this year as well. I mean,
Oh,
Florida State,
yeah,
Clemson,
let
NC.
yeah, let's talk Florida State real fast because I have a gripe. In everybody's top 25 that I've seen, everybody has, like, Florida 5th or 6th, and they have, like, Florida State, like, 15th. Look, Florida State's only lost 4 games this year, and 3 of them were at Clemson where they blew huge leads.
On all 3 games.
In all 3 games, like, they were maybe, I don't know, 9 outs away from winning 2 out of 3? No, less
They
than
were
that,
one out
6
away from winning one, and then they were
like
another couple outs away from winning the other. So absolutely, Florida State
like,
could.
why are we undervaluing what Florida State's doing? Not us,
I'm
but,
not
like,
undervaluing them. I'm not undervaluing them. I'm valuing them at all.
I really think Florida State is dangerous with their starting rotation. They're 22 and
I
4
love
this
their
year.
rotation. I love
Yeah,
their lineup too.
strength of schedule 8 in the country, and, like, their 3 losses, they gave up 8 runs in the ninth to lose 9-8 to Clemson, and then they gave up, 12 unanswered in the Sunday game when they were up 12-2. So, like, that's not a bad team. Come on. Like,
Yep.
why
No,
oh,
I
well,
know. I
let them
know.
keep sleeping.
I
I think
mean,
Florida State is like, I don't wanna say this because people are gonna hold it against us, but I think Florida State is the second best team in the ACC right now.
I mean, I don't think that's an outrageous statement at all.
They have 2 wins. I know they're both midweek, but they have 2 wins against Florida. Um, like,
Yeah.
what more do you want from them? They blew 2 games against Clemson. Like, so be it. But now they have Boston College, Miami coming up. Like, they should win 5 games there.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree.
Let me go back to my notes here. Oh, quadrant 1 wins. How cool is this? So, I like looking at quadrant 1 wins throughout the year, and it's fluid because 1 week a team might be a quadrant 1 win, and then they drop to, like, 51st in the RPI, and they're no longer a quadrant 1 win. But as of right now, um, like, last week, Clemson had 15 quadrant 1 wins. Now they have 9. But you look at the top 10, or I guess it's the top 13 because there's a bunch tied for 9th. But I like looking at them because I think these are all super regional teams. Clemson has 9, Oklahoma has 8, Duke 7, Miami 7, Florida 6, Kentucky 6, North Carolina 6, UCF 6, and then Georgia, Maryland, Oklahoma State, South Carolina, and Tennessee have 5. So, I forgot my point I was gonna make. Oh. Other than, like, a couple of these teams, like Oklahoma State, for example, or, um yeah, I mean, I don't know. Anyways, what I'm saying is I forgot what I was gonna say.
I'm confused at what you're going to
I
say
should have wrote it
too.
down. I had a formula that I was gonna say, and I completely just blanked on it. It had to do with last year's quadrant 1 wins at this time. I'm pretty sure. It'll come back to me. It'll come back to me. Sorry to the listeners out there. It's late. It's past midnight. Um, it had to do with like non-conference. I think it had to do with non-conference
Let's circle
quadrant
back on
1
this.
wins. We'll circle back on it. I have two like kind of mid-major points to make.
Talk about it.
Lamar Cardinals 22-5 sweep Oklahoma. That was a huge sweep. Put them in
Massive
a
sweep.
mid-major. Yeah, at Oklahoma, who's in first place in the Big 12. I don't know if Oklahoma's ready to play. Like, I get it. It's the middle of conference play, and you have a non-conference team coming in. But I think it showed me a lot about Lamar. Like, right now, Lamar's, like, on pace to be, like, a 2 or a 3 seed in the regionals.
I mean, Lamar, 54 in RPI, 3-2 against quad 1 team. They have work to do. They have a lot of work to do. But win the Southland Conference regular season title. Don't lose any horrible series, and they'll be an at-large team.
Yeah, 100%.
But the RPI, I mean, they need Oklahoma to stay high. They need Sam Houston's RPI to stay in that, move up a little bit, and then have nobody super terrible in the Southland. And I think they'll get it. I think they can be an at-large team. That's a massive road series win, especially if Oklahoma wins the Big 12.
Yes. If Oklahoma wins the Big 12, like, it's gonna be huge. I halfway remember what my quadrant 1 win thing was gonna be. If you I know what it was. The committee this year has been told the quadrant 1 wins is different, right? This year versus the last 10 years, and, there's a new formula, right? You have a blank stare on your face.
I'm
I'm
listening
pretty
to you.
sure. No, I was mostly asking, like, what is this new formula, and, like, how much should we be weighting quadrant 1 wins?
I mean, a quad 1 win is a quad 1 win.
No,
It's still.
well, okay, so I don't think you know about it.
I
There
mean,
is a new
I
formula.
know what it is. I know that they changed the formula to
Yeah, what
1
is it?
through 40 neutral, 1 through 40. Okay, 1 through 25 at home, 1 through 40 neutral, and 1 through 60 away. So if you beat a team that is 55 in the RPI on the road, that counts as a quad 1 win.
Okay. That was my question, is so we should not be weighting quadrant 1 wins anymore.
Yes,
right?
we should. Yes, we should.
But not like the original.
Yeah, because it's the same for everybody. If that makes sense.
One. Okay. Oh, that's what it is. Okay. Sorry for my brain fart. I see what you're saying.
So,
1 through
so
25 at home is a quadrant one win. 1 through 40 a neutral site is a quadrant one win. 1 through 60 on the road is a quadrant one win.
correct.
Wow, that's cool. And then quadrant two, 26 through 50 at home, 41 through 80 neutral, 61 through 120 away is a quadrant two win.
Yes.
That's
So
so sick.
basically, what
Okay.
that does is helps a team that played on the road early a lot against some good team. That helps. Um, it doesn't punish a team that loses a series at home to a top 25 RPI team, and it helps. You're on the road against a team that's 55 or whatever. It counts a quad one win because you went on the road and beat a 55 RPI, 59 RPI team, which you could argue, oh, but they're 59 quad two. No, but we beat them on the road. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's the whole point of it. It just kind of tried to help the northern schools that are on the road a lot, give them a little boost. And it also helped teams that, like Irvine last year missed the postseason because of quad one win when they had like 6 wins left off the table on teams that were 51 through 59. 51 through 60 RPI, for example. They had like 6 wins off the table right there. So, yeah.
Yeah. Like I'm looking at Nebraska right now, who's 20-5 this year. They're 10-3 quadrant two, but 0-1 quadrant one. So there's a good chance that some of those 10 wins are going to squeak over to the quadrant one by
Maybe.
the end of the year.
I'll tell you right now. I mean, we don't have to tell you. We're kind of all over the map right now. But yeah, so you brought up that point. What about you want to go back into a little conference talk on some of the other conferences?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, like the Big 12 is crazy right now. Um, it's kind of it's weird. Like UCF is sixth in the RPM, which is really cool. I don't understand why though. They say they have the number two non-conference RPI in the nation. They've played 3 against Bryant, Midweek Miami, 3 against Samford, SAM Ford, not Stanford, Samford, FAU midweek, USF for 3, Florida midweek, Stetson midweek. Like those are their non-conference games. I don't get why that's the number 2 non-conference strength of
It's
schedule.
because their worst RPI team on the schedule is Bryan at 179. That's their
That's a
worst.
lot though. You're telling me that there wasn't teams playing better non-conference schedules?
Yeah, I mean 179 is not horrible for your worst non-conference series. I mean Clemson. I mean there's plenty. I mean I'll tell you right now. Let me look at. For example, Clemson number 1 in the RPI. Their worst team that they played is 212 Presbyterian, 253 Manhattan for 2, Presbyterian again, Winthrop 173, 212. So it's like they just have some of those that are a little up there, and they're still number 1, and so that's why UCF is pretty high.
But I think a team like Southern Miss played a better non-conference schedule.
Maybe I'm not saying they're the best one. I'm just saying that.
The math just ain't mathing to me right now. I don't get it.
I mean, their non-conference strength of schedule is 4. Their overall strength of schedule is 4. It's because they have no horrible RPI weighing it down that much. So anyway,
Makes sense.
yeah, I mean, that's it. So I mean, UCF, I mean, Oklahoma and Kansas State. I mean, I think Texas can still win the Big 12. I've said it a couple weeks ago. I still think they can do it.
Right, dude. Right now, anybody can win the Big 12. The team in first place is Oklahoma, 7-2. They just got swept by Lamar. There's a few teams that I'm excited about, like Texas. You're right. Like they did have a big series win at Kansas State, and they won one of the games, like 20-10 or
I mean,
something like that.
they took the series.
Yeah, took the series at Kansas State, which is huge. So that puts both Kansas State and Texas at 6-3, a game back from Oklahoma. Texas has the tiebreaker there. But then like Kansas, Oklahoma State, West Virginia, Like, they're all good teams, but, like, I don't see them as a threat to win the Big 12. Even though
Maybe
JJ
West Virginia.
Wetherholt just came back, for West Virginia,
I think
or he's
West
coming
Virginia
back.
will be. I think West Virginia will be in the top 3, top 4 by the end of the year.
Yeah. UCF, after getting swept by Oklahoma to open Big 12 play, they're 6-6, so they're 6-3 the last,
2 out of
9
3 every
games.
weekend.
Yeah, a big 2 out of 3 against Texas Tech at home. That was big time.
I mean,
Um,
TCU with the sweep. They're right. They're. I mean, TCU is only 3.5 games out. They're going to be in the top by the end of the year if they kind of slowly heat up again.
yeah. It's
So I
crazy to me
think.
that Baylor is 5-7. I still can't get over Baylor being 5-7 in Big 12 play.
I mean, who do they play? They played Houston, Texas Tech, Texas, and Cincinnati. I mean,
Yeah, they have BYU and Kansas coming up,
yep.
West Virginia. Like, shout out to Baylor. They're hanging around, getting better every year.
Anyway, yeah. I mean, I think the Big 12 is too big of a mess right now to kind of. But that's just the general picture. Oklahoma,
The
Kansas
Big
State,
12
Texas.
does not have like, currently, the Big 12 has nobody ranked in the top 25. Oh, I think UCF cracked the rankings at, like, 25 for D1. But, yeah, it's just weird to see, like, is somebody gonna host a regional out of the Big 12?
Um,
Like, maybe
Oklahoma,
Texas?
Oklahoma could. UCF could. Oklahoma State still could. Texas still can. Kansas. I mean, all these teams still can. TCU still can. It's too early.
So early.
Anyway,
Here's a team that I hope hosts a regional.
UCF did. Wow, I did not even see D1 top 25 yesterday. UCF did get in.
Yeah,
Kansas State and Oklahoma dropped out. UCF gets in. That's funny.
yeah. Um, I'm gonna rattle off some teams because I'm sure we're boring the listeners. I'm sorry, whatever. We'll be better next episode here in a few days. But here's a few teams I'm rooting on to host a regional right now. Number one that I hope hosts a regional is Nebraska because Haymarket Field or Park or whatever they call it is elite. Like
Haymarket.
Haymarket, yeah. And, the fan base is strong. Like, they're not a Big 10 baseball team. Like, they are more of a Big 12 or Pac-12, baseball fan base. Strong. Dallas Baptist is another one. I wanna see DBU host another regional. That that's just exciting to me. Um, there's 2 more teams that are at the bottom. I hope the Louisiana Raging Cajuns host a regional. They've won 11 straight, first place in the Big South, or not the Big South, sorry, the Sun Belt. And the Teague during playoff time is awesome. Like, I just
Awesome.
remember those like 2012, 13, 14 teams that hosted regionals or whatever years they were.
I think
Um,
that's 2013, maybe 14.
I think 13 and 14.
Well,
But
they were number one. They were the number one overall national seed.
yeah, it's crazy. But man, I would do anything for a Lafayette regional. Like, that's what I want. And then the last team, probably on the far outside, don't even know if it's possible, but I did tweet about it. The Lamar Cardinals. And I don't think their strength of schedule and quadrant one wins or anything are gonna they would pretty much have to win the rest of the games this season. But they have a sick field that nobody knows about. It's in Beaumont, Texas, which is like far east part of Texas, almost to Louisiana. And if they got a couple Louisiana teams in that regional, it would be sold out. It's just awesome. Very visually appeasing. So they're 22 and
Wow.
5 right now. They have a sweep over Oklahoma. Um, it's
For
probably
anybody on
impossible.
YouTube, for anybody on YouTube that's curious what he's talking about,
Look at that. I think it used to be an old minor league stadium back in like the early 2000s. I had a high school coach that told me that he used to go to like dollar beer nights every Thursday there.
I mean, basically just a bunch of bleacher seats just wrapped all the way around. You can. I think you can get a good crowd there. I mean, look. There's a power plant in right, softball field in center. There ain't shit else around except for a highway.
They could put in some temporary bleachers out there, like in
No,
left.
you would. I mean, no, I don't know. I mean, maybe here. I mean, you can extend this a little bit over here, add some more over here, add some right here. I mean, you could probably get foul pole to foul pole.
I don't know. It's a dream, but I don't think it's possible. Like, even
No,
if they go 45-5, I don't think it's possible, but it
not
would be
possible.
sick.
But super fun.
But I am rooting for Nebraska, a Louisiana, and a who's the third
DBU.
team I said? DBU. Like, those are fun fan bases, nice stadiums, and regional atmosphere is awesome. So
Hey,
anyways,
I mean, the Pac-12. I mean, I can't believe Cal is ninth in the Pac-12, 2 games under 500 at 5-7. I can't believe UCLA is down there, but
nobody wants to win the Pac-12, dude.
I mean, Oregon, I think is the best team by far to win the Pac-12. Sorry, Oregon State.
Yeah, Oregon State, but they did just lose 2 out of 3 to USC. USC
I
is playing
know,
better baseball now, dude.
I know. We shit talked USC into oblivion.
Yeah, but they're 6-5 in Pac-12 play. Like, big series win against Oregon State. I just think Oregon State's going to run away with it. But yeah, Utah's a surprise team this year. It feels like every week it's flip flop. Like, somebody will win 2 out of 3 and then lose 2 out of 3 to a bad team.
Or get
But
swept and then go sweep.
yeah,
Um,
I haven't had a good feel on the Pac-12 this year.
yeah.
It usually is so consistent with like Stanford, Oregon State, Oregon. And this year it's not. So last year of the conference before it disbands or whatever.
Yo,
And
so I was thinking about it. Since we're about to record another episode in 2 days from now, previewing the weekend and the midweek and kind of catching up on more team, do you want to just kind of preview the midweek and then talk more on Wednesday?
yeah, like I know there's a bunch of Tuesday games that are fun.
Because the reason why is because we're at an hour already, and it's just like how much. I mean, how much more they're covered right now? I mean, we could talk on and on. I think our listeners know we could stay here for 5 hours and talk.
I want to do a field of 64 projection before the weekend.
Since we're at the halfway point.
Yeah,
All right.
and so you and I can work on it tomorrow or whenever, but
Yep.
that's something that I want to happen. I
All
want to
right. Let's
have
do
happen.
that.
Like,
Let's do that.
maybe that's what we'll do. We'll preview the weekend, obviously, next episode, but we'll go through a field of 64 projection, and just lay out where teams are at right now and like what they need to do to get in that field of 64
Oh, hey,
projection.
one more thing. One more thing before we get into the midweek. Shout out to the Georgia State Panthers. They absolutely cooked us on Twitter or X. Sorry. By the way, who was the one that said that? Was it you or me?
We both said it.
Is that what I couldn't remember? I was listening to the audio and I was like, I don't remember the full conversation.
Yeah, I said
You
I think this James Madison team is way better than Georgia State,
and then I said I
and
agreed.
you're like, yeah, I agree. I think they're way better, and they Georgia State went out and just whooped James Madison. So you guys can check our Twitter. We retweeted it. It was pretty funny. Little
Um,
hype video.
yeah, I got a shirt that's going to come out for them. They're super pumped about that. I think they deserve it. They basically just called us out and took care of business. What the
Yeah,
hell
and
do we know?
they have a huge midweek game against Georgia tomorrow.
What else do we got on the slate tomorrow?
Well, the biggest
Um,
midweek game tomorrow, and people might argue, but I don't care. But it's at Charles Schwab Field, Nebraska at Creighton. Nebraska's 20-5, Creighton is 20-4, and it's in Omaha, like at the College World Series field. And so I broadcasted the Creighton game at Charleston Southern on Friday, and was talking to Coach Service at Creighton. He's like, yeah, we might see upwards of like 10, 11, 12,000 people there. So that's going to be an awesome atmosphere. I'm excited about that game. I
that's
will
going
be
to be a good
watching it.
one.
I will be I will probably be betting on it, but yeah, it's that's probably my favorite midweek of tomorrow. There's a
Low
couple
key
other
a
like
good,
really good
low
ones,
key,
low key.
low key a good one. Liberty coming off a sweep at a good Sam Houston State. They host Duke tomorrow night. I think that could be a good one.
Oh yeah, Liberty. Like the last 2 or 3 years, Liberty whoops up on these ACC teams in the midweek.
Yeah, they did. I mean, they lost.
Um,
They lost a lot of bad baseball games. I mean, they lost 7 straight to Coastal, Charleston, and East Carolina. They got swept twice, lost Charleston, sandwiched in the middle there. That's 7 straight. I mean, and then they reeled off series win, and then swept Sam. Oh, sorry, I said at Sam that home, but a good Sam Houston State team. So maybe Liberty figured it out, and they get scorching hot the rest of the year. That could be a team to watch out for.
Yeah, 100%. They're always dangerous. Jacksonville at Florida State, that's a big one. Jacksonville always just feels like they always beat Florida and Florida State in the midweeks.
Yeah, Georgia Southern at
Indiana State.
Charleston.
Wait, what'd you say?
Georgia Southern at Charleston.
Yeah, that's a good one. Indiana State at Indiana is always a big rivalry game.
I mean, Indiana State took the first one already.
Yeah. East Carolina at NC State.
Big
NC
one.
State's been hot recently. They was it last week they beat Coastal in a midweek or 2 weeks ago?
2 weeks ago.
Yeah. Coastal at UNCW, that's a big rivalry. Those two teams don't like each other very much. Charlotte Campbell's going to be a high-scoring game. The in Miami FAU, it just feels like this is the time of year we see some really good midweek games. Sam Houston at Lamar,
Louisville at Kentucky. Yep.
Yeah.
Southern Miss at Southeastern and Hammond, America.
Yeah. Samford is hosting Alabama, and I'm pretty sure Samford, that's back-to-back SEC midweeks that they're hosting.
Yep.
At their field. That's cool.
Samford
Texas A&M at Texas State. Ooh, that's my upset pick. Texas State's been playing bad baseball, but this is going to get them back on track. Texas State, I think, beats Texas A&M.
That could be a good turnaround game. Get that win and then turn your season around and get going again.
100%. I always love, and I'm impartial to the Rice-Houston matchup. I know they're not as good as they used to be, but that game used to mean a lot back in the day.
Yeah.
One of the newest members of the mid-major top 25, the Portland Pilots, is hosting Oregon. That's a nice West Coast game.
Yeah, man.
Grand Canyon, Arizona State. Those two teams don't like each other. Remember last year there was some pre-game or post-game interview stuff?
They said somebody from Arizona State basically said that, hey, they don't belong in the same fields as us. And then proceeded to get smacked. So, yeah, give me a week, good weekend. We'll get you guys more content, more stuff. We'll dive into more stuff as we get through this week.
Yeah, this week's pretty much loaded up. I'm excited for it. But we'll get a Field 64 projection out there. We'll do some other things. We're trying to get more creative. So, anyways, it's late. We got to hang up here. We'll be back, I guess, in like a day or two, technically.
Yeah, 48 hours.
Yep. All right. Anyways, y'all have fun and appreciate everybody for listening.